What if the very thing you believe makes you strong is actually your greatest vulnerability? Stop scrolling for just 1 second. I need to ask you a question that might unravel everything you've been taught about morality. Do you assume that being a good person is your ultimate shield? That decency guarantees you safety and respect? If you nodded yes, you're on the brink of a revelation that will dismantle that entire worldview. The most perilous assumption you can make is that virtue equals security. But the raw, unfiltered reality is this: unchecked goodness operates like a slow-acting poison. It erodes your influence, your energy, and your ambitions. The ancient strategist Sun Tzu grasped this dynamic completely. He observed virtuous commanders defeated, principled rulers overthrown, and ethical merchants bankrupted by ruthless competitors. Today, you'll access his concealed wisdom, the hidden toll of integrity that society refuses to acknowledge. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why your morality is systematically disarming you, why people don't admire your character, they weaponize it. And most critically, you'll learn the method to convert your principles from a crippling liability into your most decisive advantage. Let me be perfectly clear. This is not a call to abandon your ethics. This is a guide to applying them with precision, not naivety. Because in an arena of predators, playing the prey is a guaranteed path to destruction. I want you to type this phrase in the comments right now: I embrace tactical virtue. From this moment forward, your approach shifts. You will no longer deploy your morals indiscriminately. You will wield them with strategy. In this presentation, we'll expose why ethics don't necessarily safeguard you. In fact, they frequently undermine you, and we'll demonstrate precisely how to transmute them into a foundation of authentic power. Let's begin with the first unsettling revelation. Number 1, the vulnerability of virtue. Consider the most principled individual in your circle. Now, be brutally honest. Are they genuinely revered, or are they the default option for every favor? The fact is, unwavering morality reveals your weaknesses, not your strengths. When you are predictably ethical, people begin to categorize you as manageable. They learn you won't retaliate. They learn your boundaries are flexible. They learn they can overstep because you're too civil to respond forcefully. You become the workplace pacifist, the friend who always volunteers, the relative who perpetually assists even at their own expense. Let me share a story about a colleague. He was the most supportive department head I've ever known. He perpetually aided his staff, made excuses for their failures, and prioritized their comfort above all else. What was the result? They promoted a less accommodating, more decisive peer over him. Why? Because agreeable individuals aren't perceived as authoritative. They are seen as facilitators. People don't value your ethics, they capitalize on them. Ponder this. When someone is eternally accessible, their assistance loses its worth. When someone never establishes limits, people will perpetually violate them. When someone never demonstrates force, people presume it doesn't exist. Your decency becomes your defect because it broadcasts to everyone that you are easily exploited. Sun Tzu once wrote, "He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not will be victorious." You've been attempting to navigate the battlefield as a civilian, and that's precisely why you keep suffering losses. Type this affirmation in the comments: I guard my presence. Number 2, the altruism paradox. This will rewire your understanding of human psychology. The more you offer people, the less they value it. I understand this seems counterintuitive, but stay with me. Generosity generates immediate praise. People applaud you. They offer compliments. They proclaim your excellence. It feels incredible, doesn't it? But over time, a perverse transformation occurs. Your altruism cultivates reliance, presumption, and ultimately bitterness. Let me clarify the mechanism. When you assist someone on one occasion, they feel gratitude. When you assist them a second time, they feel appreciation. But when you assist them a dozen times, they begin to assume it. Your extraordinary decency becomes their baseline. If you ever cease helping, they don't recall the 11 times you agreed, they recall the single instance you refused. Suddenly, you're the unreasonable one. You're the antagonist. Consider caregivers who constantly provide their children with every desire. Initially, the children are thrilled and thankful, but soon those items become anticipated. The latest gadget isn't a privilege anymore, it's a standard entitlement. And if the parents ever decline a purchase, the children become furious and label them unjust. The identical pattern emerges in social dynamics. You always pay the bill. You always provide transportation. You always assist with errands. At the start, they express thanks, but eventually they cease acknowledging it. They simply presume you'll manage it. And if you ever require reciprocation, they're mysteriously unavailable. This is the altruism paradox. You give continuously until giving defines you, and the instant you need to receive, or even just pause giving, you become the villain in their narrative. Your relentless generosity doesn't forge allegiance, it forges dependency. People become dependent on your contributions, and like any dependency, they become hostile when their source is interrupted. The psychological principle underpinning this is hedonic adaptation. We rapidly acclimatize to positive conditions. What once felt extraordinary becomes ordinary. What once felt charitable becomes obligatory. Therefore, your repeated acts of kindness actually diminish in potency over time. They become background noise. People stop recognizing them because they're so routine. But your solitary act of refusal, that shines like a beacon. That's what they recall. That's what they fixate on. That's what they criticize. This manifests in every environment. In your career, if you always work late, working late becomes your standard. No one commends it anymore. But depart on schedule once, and abruptly, you're not dedicated. In partnerships, if you always acquiesce, acquiescence becomes expected. But hold your ground once, and you're being uncooperative. Sun Tzu understood that opportunities multiply as they are seized. He understood something most never grasp. Scarcity generates value. Abundance annihilates it. Type this affirmation in the comments. I contribute with purpose. Number 3, the facade of morality. Here's a truth that might cause discomfort. Society rewards perception, not authenticity. People don't care whether you are truly virtuous, they care whether you appear virtuous. They don't assess your character, they assess your reputation. This means that to preserve authority and esteem, you must wear the mask of integrity while maintaining command underneath. Examine the most accomplished individuals you know. Do you believe they reached that position by being authentically compassionate to all? Unlikely. They achieved it by being smart about when, how, and to whom they reveal their integrity. They're gracious publicly and make difficult choices privately. They display compassion when it benefits them and display resolve when necessary. They understand that the illusion of virtue is more powerful than virtue itself. This isn't about being disingenuous. This is about being tactical. Think of it this way. A surgeon must incise you to preserve your life. Is the surgeon being brutal? No. The surgeon is performing what is required even if it induces temporary suffering. Authentic leaders recognize that sometimes being truly moral means appearing momentarily harsh. Sometimes helping someone requires denying them. Sometimes protecting your team entails making disagreeable choices. The facade of morality isn't about deceit, it's about synchronization. It's about knowing when to reveal your compassion and when to reveal your resolve. Most people invert this. They display their fragility to adversaries and their strength to allies. Astute individuals do the opposite. Sun Tzu declared, all warfare is based on deception. He recognized that perception crafts reality. If people perceive you as fragile, you become fragile. If they perceive you as potent, you become potent. I want you to type this affirmation in the comments. I command my narrative. Number 4, the resource equation. Every single action you take carries a cost. Every kindness you extend, every time you consent when you desire to refuse, every minute you invest helping others instead of providing yourself. Most moral people never calculate this. They provide and provide until they are depleted. Then they question why they feel drained, bitter, and utilized. Here's what you must internalize. Your time, vitality, and resources are limited. When you expend them on others, you retain less for yourself. This isn't selfish to recognize, it's arithmetic. Boundless ethics deplete your vigor. And when you're depleted, you cannot help anyone, including yourself. Recall aircraft safety protocols. They instruct you to secure your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Why?